leg of the trip. Got 320-ish miles left to go or so. Been a great trip. I'll do a reflection when I get closer, but I'm going to try to just cruise on. If you can tell where I'm at, I'm on 75 going south. I had considered taking, there's a road 127 that would go straight down and meet up to where I need to be. It would take me basically through Lansing, or East Lansing, one of the two. But with Eddie's brake situation, I didn't want to do a lot of stop and go. So I figured I would just get on 75 and poke along at 62. Hazy this morning, I wanted to get an early start and beat the heat. It's been a great trip. Again, I'll reflect more later. If you haven't done Michigan, you need to do it. They know they have a beautiful state up here, and they take every advantage of it. Roadside rests are amazing. Everything's mapped out really well. And the UP will see me again. Still driving in Michigan. A little thought on traveling with two pets, two cats and a small Class B. If you've watched enough, you've seen it can be a challenge. Last night, sadly, I didn't have the camera ready or running. And Kiki basically lost her shit. Because I've told you before that Vinny will not sometimes leave her alone. If she's eating food, I'll put food in two places. If she's eating food, half the time he decides he's got to go up and make her move just to assert dominance. It's all he's trying to do all the time. And she's usually passive. And if she decides she wants to sit in the window or she wants to sit here, he'll let her do it for a while, and then he decides I have to be in that spot. Well, it was funny but sad, and it showed after lots of traveling that Kiki had had enough. She kind of lost her shit. He was messing with her, and she like started running around in circles. Well, in a Class B, as much as circles you can do in a Class B. And he was pawing at her and trying to bite her and chasing her. And she can out-jump him, so she ran up and got on the top of the passenger seat. And he's on the cooler, and they're swatting at each other. And she's hissing like she hadn't hissed before. And I'm yelling, Vinny, stop, which are two of my most common words I use now. She's hissing and swatting at him, and then she started just pawing like a cat will do, like on a claw post, you know, one of those things. She just clawing on the top of the seat, and she had that look like, please somebody hit him with a meteor or something, you know, just make this son of a bitch go away. So, going 70, gotta slow down. So usually she just bears it and moves to another spot, but last night she had had enough. What's the matter? Oh, I'm talking about you. Now she's standing on the back of my seat. But, you know, I've tried different things, but I guess he's just, you're standing on my head now, Keek. I'm driving. But if you're gonna have pets in any RV, especially a small RV, it's interesting. But I wish I could have caught it on video, because I felt bad for her while I was laughing, because she was just furious. And he's got that what look on his face. If cats can have looks on their face, I don't know. I tend to think, I gotta slow down. I tend to think they do. If you have pets, you know they're more than just an eating and pooping machine. They seem to have feelings and everything. Right, Keek? Yeah. Just slow down. But, try to look out for your pets. I don't know if this will make the cut, but okay, it'll make the cut. What's the matter? I'm doing a lot of crying. Alright, people have a great and wonderful day. Cruising right along. Do gotta say, you know, I had that brake scare. Relatively happy with myself. I stayed overall I stayed calm. I was concerned, but I stayed calm, and I just gotta say, right now Eddie's running great. Just handling some of these tougher roads. Cruising along 65, trying to slow myself. 90,616 on the odometer. So yeah, we've gone a little bit of ways, but I think he's gonna be a stand-up RV and get me back home and get him to his own doctor and see how he's doing. But again, I think if you do good preventative maintenance, if you get lucky when you buy a used one that's a good strong one, and you do your preventative maintenance, and you get a little bit of luck along the way. I mean, I've had a few issues. I did one stupid thing that I will share it. Nobody likes to share the stupid stuff that they do. Well, actually, I'm sure I'll share the stupid stuff long before I get to this video. But keeping it real even when you're embarrassed of yourself. Good, strong RV. Give him a good pat. Like I said, we'll get him into the doctor. It might be a little bit, but before any trips of any length, Eddie will get his feet checked out. Oh, and I'm trying not to use cruise control. And again, I will share that I don't know everything, and hopefully never make claims that I do. But I'm trying not to use cruise control because I'm not sure if, like, when you're going down a hill and your vehicle brakes itself going down a hill to maintain the speed on the cruise, if it's using the brake or the transmission. My first guess is it's probably using the transmission. I don't think it's activating brakes, but I'm not sure. I've never really paid attention, but that's something I'm gonna find out, I guess. I would guess it would make more sense that it uses the transmission to brake itself, but if anybody knows, be interested to know that. Coming up on Saginaw. Carrying on. Man, Eddie is feeling good today. He wants to run. Can't. I'm having a hard time keeping my speed down to where I want to be. Feeling good today, Edward. I sometimes get the idea that if and when the time comes that I would get something different, I get conflicted. There are times I think I'd like a Class C, like just 25, 26 foot for a little bit more space. And there's other times I think, man, I'd like a truck camper. I think those can be pretty cool. And if you get the new ones with a slide, that little bit of room that it pops out can make them very good. But when you do that, you got to buy a truck, and a truck can be expensive. And truck campers, the camper itself is a little bit more expensive than you think, unless you get a really old one. But some of the new ones, really, the space is different, but it doesn't always seem that much smaller than this, the way they're organized. I'm hoping that Cousin Eddie lives a long and prosperous life. I'd love to see he's at 90,000 miles. I would be impressed to see him get another 90,000. But it just comes down to the point on when something nickels and dimes you to death. So far, I haven't really had much problems, you know, since I bought them, 60-some thousand miles on them. I've put about 30 on them. And in that time, normal maintenance, the master brake cylinder went out, and again, I got a hookup, so that didn't cost me too bad. Parts, changed a lot of parts out. To change everything, all the fluids, all the hoses, all the belts, change everything out. We did that. And the rear brake thing just cost me a little over $100, where the parking brake was basically locking up. And then I had this issue with the front brake that I got to get checked out, and I had the bulge, the control arms. I had to replace the control arms, and that was a little bit, would have been worse again if I had to pay a normal garage to do it. But other than that, I really haven't had any problems. All his innards, all the RV portions of them work perfectly. And I think, you know, for paying just around 15 grand for him, the money I put into him is nothing to complain about. And I hope it stays that way. The engine's strong. Every now and then I wonder about the transmission, how it's doing. And I might, before my next big trip, I might have some work done, or I have a family connection down in Florida that owns a transmission shop. So there's a good chance on my trip down there that I'll just say, all right, take it apart and tell me what you think. Do what you need to do. This guy's going slow. I'm getting to pass somebody. Mark it down in your history books. He might have been doing like 55. It's a little bit more Ramble tacked on.